Hi everyone, I'm Krisha. I'm a book dragon with too many books.
And I'm Styles, and I'm alive!
Oh, God.
That's from Frankenstein. I love movies. It's a great time here. Hi, welcome in.
Welcome to the Hoard, y'all. It is new year, new books, new looks. And so we're doing a book haul today. We just made it through Christmas, so we got a few things for as presents from our family and friends that we would like to share. I'm not obviously going to be able to share everything that I've gotten because we'd be here all day, but I did pick 5 that I want to talk about. And Styles.
And only 5.
Yes.
No honorable mentions.
Okay. Good. And Styles also has 5 to talk about too. All right. And I guess I
do have 5.
Go first. I will go first. Okay. First up, I have Beartown by Frederick Bachman. So this is probably, I guess, what you could consider a backlist book because it's been out for a really long time. And this is a very popular writer. I recently read by him last summer or early fall, Anxious People, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was surprisingly funny, and it was just a really cute book. I did not watch the TV show, which is available on Netflix, not sponsored, if you'd like to check that out, but the book was awesome. So I wanted to go back and check out Beartown, which this one apparently is one of his more popular ones, or so I've been told, and I really want to check it out. So this is a contemporary fiction novel, and Frederick Bachman is just really, really good at his character development. I think that based on my one experience with his writing, really makes his novels. Like, even though there's a big cast of characters, somehow you get really invested in their story and what's going on with them, and then how that weaves and builds into the greater narrative. I think he is really, really good at that. And I've been told that he does an even better job in Beartown. So I think this is going to be amazing. Apparently, it's also going to be a little bit emotionally soul crushing. So, I know. I don't do well with that in general. I'm just like pretty much a wimp. Like, I like it. Like, I love 39. It's like one of my top favorite K-dramas of all time, but it did wreck me emotionally. And like, I've only after like 3 years been able to be like, you know what, maybe I'm ready to watch that again. But I do want to try this because it's been lauded by so many of my friends and mutuals who have read this book and they really love it. So I want to give it a try, especially because I enjoyed Anxious People so much. So this one is about a really, really small town, a winter town in wherever the heck it is. I don't know. He lives in Stockholm, Sweden, so I'm just gonna say it's in Sweden or something, I guess. And Beartown is basically one of those towns that's like really small. From what I can tell, it's probably kind of like a one stoplight type town, and nothing ever happens here. It's like they do whatever industry they do or have to get by, and everybody just knows everybody. Everybody does their one thing to get by, but the one claim to fame that this town has is a hockey team. Their town's junior ice hockey team is about to compete in the national semifinals, and they're actually really, really good. So all the hopes and wishes and dreams of this town is like bearing down on obviously these young hockey players. And under all of that heavy burden, somehow something happens. There's like this eruption of violence that happens, and I think at the center of it is obviously this hockey team and this young girl. And I'm assuming, based on how Anxious People went, that this whole book is looking through the lens of all the different characters who are related directly or tangentially to this event to figure out what happened to this girl, or what happened in general in the event, and really who was all involved in it. So his stuff, from what I can tell, kind of develops as a little bit of a character story and also a little bit of a mystery. And it seems like that's kind of his formula, at least based on what I can understand from the back of this and my experience with anxious people. And I think it's just going to be really, really good. I think, from what I can tell, he's a fantastic writer. So yeah.
I picked A Dowry of Blood. I actually started this one already, and
I bought this.
Yeah, I actually didn't get this for Christmas. Krisha bought this for me, I don't even know how long ago. And
they like vampires, so I thought they would enjoy this.
I do. And she bought this for me. I don't remember when she bought it, but I literally forgot that I owned it when she texted me like a couple months ago and was like, hey, can I borrow this book? And I was like, I literally didn't know the book
Which
existed.
Is so funny.
And not you have your own.
Well, because my intention when I bought this was for us to buddy read. And then I forgot because you forgot about it.
I am panic reading, trying to get through it so that I can give it to you to borrow. And well, I'm halfway through if you want to catch up. I'm on freaking page 100. Okay. So,
okay.
If you'd like to catch up and we can buddy read. Anyways, I won't say too much about it because I don't want to spoil it. But if you've read or seen either the movie or the show of Interview with a Vampire, it kind of has that feel. Basically, the main character is this vampire woman named Constata, and her husband is like the vampire that changed her, like turned her into a vampire. And the book starts with, it's basically one giant love letter that she writes to him because she says, she like talks in the first person of I did this, and then she says, but you did this, and you looked at me this way. That's how she refers to him the entire time. So I literally don't know this man's name because she never.
Is he supposed to be Dracula?
It. No, I don't think it's Dracula, but it could be, possibly. It is Dracula. Based on the back.
It might not be.
I don't know. Well, see, she never, Constata is the main character's name, and it's her letter. She never says his name. Like, I'm 100 pages in, and she hasn't said his name yet, but the back does have Dracula on the back, so I guess. But she literally never, and she does reference Transylvania one good time, so maybe it is Dracula. Maybe. Okay. Anyway, not the point, but it's a love letter to Dracula, but this is like...
Maybe. Allegedly.
To her husband.
Purportedly. But
this is after he has died, because the first page she says, an Interview with a Vampire, Lestat didn't die. Spoilers, but not really, because we got Queen of the Damned. Anyways, not the point. But she says, she was like, this is my last love letter to you. Well, it's more of a confession, and I'm basically explaining why you had to die. And so apparently she, awesome. But if this is Dracula, then I am interested in, how they would converge the actual OG Dracula story versus with this one, because this one isn't really, so far it's not lining up, but it could. I'm only 100 pages in.
When we watch the movie, he is killed by his wife.
Is he?
Yes, because I don't know if they officially got married, but the reincarnation of his original wife, she is the one who does do the deed lady. Yeah, she does actually. Yeah, well,
that's
kill
not
him.
That's not this lady.
I know, but I'm just saying maybe that's technically.
Maybe I'll find out. I'll find out. It's really good.
Because I guess I'll start it so we can do our buddy read.
Yeah. So let me know when you get to page 100.
I'll do my best.
But this is really good. Even though it is a vampire book, and I love that, the vampirism isn't anything important. They have vampirism, we have allergies. It's just there.
That is so messed up. It's not you grabbing me and murdering me and drinking all my blood to sustain your life, and for you it's just oh, I took my Zyrtec, I'm good now.
Literally. It's not
cool. Don't trivialize my life. Don't trivialize my death.
It's not the vampirism. Them being vampires isn't even really the point of this story. It's more so about their relationship from start to finish. So.
Bones and all, right?
Yeah.
They were full on cannibals, but that wasn't the point.
Wasn't the point.
The point was their connection and their relationships, right? So cool. Right. Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right, cool.
It's a good story. I can't wait to see how it ends. I'm very intrigued.
Okay. So the next one I have on my list is Black and Blues by Imani Perry. So this is a nonfiction book. written by like a pretty well-renowned writer. I've never read anything by Imani Perry, so I'm excited for this to be my first one. And every year I do have a goal of reading a few nonfiction books. I typically start with essay collections. That's my go-to. I really enjoy those, and or memoirs about normal people, regular people. I don't really like celebrity memoirs because I get it. You were a normal person at one point, but also at this point you're like super super rich, and I just don't care about like what I don't care. Like you're rich now. Like just go off and be rich. Like but this
Except for
one
Jeanette McCurdy's book. That one seems interesting.
I did hear that one that was actually really really good, and maybe I could be convinced. Maybe if we buddy read it if you're interested in that. But I probably won't pick it
I
up on
think
my
I
own.
have it on Kindle.
Oh, okay. Well, see, maybe. But this one I'm super excited about because it's basically talking about the intersection between the color blue and blackness. So not blues like the music, which you might think of, because that is generally like really
Black folks invented the
tied,
blues.
yeah, tied very closely to blackness and black culture and black history, like the music, the blues. So I kind of thought that's what this was about when I first read the novel itself, but actually, or the title on its own, but actually it's about the color blue and the intersection between blackness historically and that particular color, which I thought made for a really really interesting thesis. Like in all of my studies for African American history and just like my own personal studies and readings as I became an adult, never in my mind or just like generally like being black and being around like our family and everything, thought about the color blue and its tie to blackness. And then so I thought that was going to be a really, really interesting thesis. And then beyond that, like a personal connection to the color blue is that like our mom loves the color blue, like to the point where like we both kind of rebelled against that color because there was so
I
much blue
literally
in our
hate the
house.
color blue.
I mean,
Except for like baby blue, Carolina blue. That one's grown on me and it's like my second favorite. But other than that, blue in general, I cannot stand it. And like my
I,
mom, she likes dark blue, like navy blue. And I think navy is the dullest color to have ever existed.
I wouldn't go that far. I actually like the color blue. It's not my favorite color. Favorite color is purple. Our mom's house, the entirety of the house is blue.
She lives in a blueberry.
Yes, very tasteful though. I will say that it's very tasteful. She kind of missed her calling as like an interior designer in my mind, but it's blue everywhere. And so like at a personal level, I was like, this would be really nice to kind of understand what Imani Perry is talking about and like how does that connect to blackness historically, and just to see like maybe subliminally if that has like any impact on our lives and what like our moms like draw to that color might be. And it says, just kind of on the inside flap, throughout history, black life has been remarkably intertwined with another color, blue. In daily life, it is evoked in countless ways, from the hopefulness of a blue sky to the deep melancholy of Louis Armstrong's question, what did I do to be so black and blue? In this book, celebrated author Imani Perry uses the world's favorite color as a springboard for a riveting emotional, cultural, and spiritual journey, an examination of race and blackness that transcends, good lord, politics and ideology. Um, so I just think that's going to be so interesting. So I'm really, really excited to dive into this and kind of understand like where she's thinking and like what this kind of like meditation on the color blue has to do with like being black, particularly being black in America. So I'm very excited about this. So yeah.
I've only heard of people being blue black. That's the only connection I have to the color blue and
Yes.
the black experience. But I'm interested to see what she has to say about it all. So just let me know the
How a
spark
color
notes.
subtitle, how a color tells the story of my people. So yeah.
Give me the spark notes version.
Okay. All right. I love how you like very clearly was like, okay, I'm not gonna read that book, but I would like to know what goes on.
Give me a synopsis. I'm good.
Ooh.
Gracie got me this book for Christmas.
did.
It is a graphic novel. I'll open it up so you can see. And it looks like this character with the lock seems to be a recurring character. So they might either be the main character or like the main's bestie, I guess. I don't know. Maybe this person's the main. And I don't know. I'll get there eventually. But essentially what this one is about, middle grade, so it's, pretty chill, low-key book, easy to read. I can read it at work. Is this girl, I think her name is Isa, is how I would pronounce that. She is of the Ornu people, but they have recently been colonized, and they are less than full citizens. And the only way to become a full citizen is to become a full-fledged knight. in their army, in the colonizers' army.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's her goal. But then, like, war ensues, and I have to assume that it says that she has to hide her Ornu status because I guess she would just be straight cannon fodder if they knew. And so she's trying to blend in, make friends. There's some bullies that she's probably going to have to defeat while also sticking it to the colonizers, and then trying to figure out whatever twist is going to be in this book because there's got to be a twist, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm interested to see what this is about. Krisha already read it.
Yeah, so I picked this for Styles because they read a lot of webcomics pretty much.
Every night,
Yeah.
right before bed.
So I thought that they would enjoy getting a graphic novel from me as opposed to all the regular novels that I'm always recommending to them or giving to them. I thought this would be a nice palette cleanser for them. I think the art style is just really pretty, really amazing. So that drew me to the book on my own.
I like the blocking of it. That looks nice.
And then I don't know what you mean by that, but you can.
The blocking is how like it's actually framed. If you see a lot of movies that were actually based off of comics, then a lot of the scenes will be blocking like that. And it's pretty cool. Like the Into the Spider-Verse, like almost every scene is like a shot that you could literally take and put on like your computer's wallpaper. But that's basically like blocking when you see
That's
it
cool.
like that. Unbreakable with Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson.
Oh.
That M. Night Shyamalan movie.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. I don't know how to say his name. I've heard it pronounced two ways, so leave me alone.
Okay.
But I don't know how to say it. Anyways, that movie, it's got a lot of comic book blocking. You can see it in the frames of how there's a bunch of rectangles and squares of things in the shots. That's what blocking means. Wow, I finally taught you something on this channel.
I also picked this up for them because I thought that they would like that it's kind of a bit of a progression story. So your main character starts at one level and like has different training montages and training opportunities, and they progress and gain in strength. I thought that that was something that Styles would like because they like action movies, so there's a lot of kind of just like action and training and stuff in here. And then I was drawn to this book myself because it's written by two women, one of which is a Palestinian American, and I want to read more books by Palestinian authors. And then it's also the illustrations were done by a Jordanian American illustrator, so I really liked that aspect of it too, and wanted to kind of support those authors. So I picked this up and I enjoyed it, and I think you will too.
Neat.
So the next one that I have that I want to talk about is The Will of the Many by James Islington? Islington sounds better. We're going to go with that. And so I was going to talk about a different one, but actually following up on the Squire, I thought that this would actually be a really good one too, because this follows a young man. He was the prince of a small nation that gets colonized by a bigger, badder nation.
I just hate colonizers. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like just everybody just mind your own.
Literally mind your own business.
Please. But
trade routes, we can do that. But the colonizing, come now.
But I think this is going to be really good, and it's going to be one of those books that I think for me personally, because I be struggling sometimes, like my emotions get like too wrapped up, and I get like too anxious for the characters, and be like, oh God, I need a break or whatever. I think this one is safe. Based on like what I've heard from other people.
It's so thick. There's got to be at least like you could have 4 tragic deaths happen.
I mean, you could, but I don't know. I don't think it'll be the main character, and that's what really messes me up. So I think hopefully we'll be safe. I think he has like extremely thick plot armor, so I think he's gonna be okay. But anyways, he's the prince of a small nation that gets colonized. His family dies. Obviously, they kill his dad because you can't have like a monarch still living, because they would probably sow seeds of rebellion. So they don't want that. So he dies. And his son, they assume dies as well, but he doesn't, and he like falls into anonymity. But he then ends up at basically like a military academy, essentially. And before I get into that, you kind of got to know like what this like world is like. And basically this is a progression fantasy novel. So the fantasy element comes in through some sort of like magic or whatever kind of like powers this empire, whether it's like magic or energy or something or whatever. It comes from the people. That's why it's called the will of the many, where basically it's pretty much a freaking pyramid scheme where it's like you have the people at the bottom, they cede their will to the people above them, and then they cede their will to the people above them ad nauseum till you get to the very top of the pyramid, which are the leaders of this empire. And so, of course, they're colonizing more and more of the world because they need more people to feed the machine and cede their will, which it says is basically strength, my drive, my focus, or whatever, which this empire calls will, is leached away and then added to the power of those above me. So that is like the that's like how this world works and how it functions. And he's going to this military, they think so that he can become part of, or he goes to this academy, they think so that he can become part of the citizenry or whatever, but he actually gets plucked out of like the slums of wherever he is by this nobleman who wants to find out what happened to like his friend or lover or someone. I don't know, I haven't read this yet. Wants to find out what happened when somebody died in the academy when he was there, but he can't go back. It's like on an island or whatever, and you're not allowed to go there unless you are enrolled, basically. So he sponsors the main character, whose name is Viz.
What a name.
Yeah, he sponsors him to go there and solve the murder, search for some sort of ancient weapon, and then uncover secrets that may tear the Republic apart, because that's his end goal. May or may not be the end goal of the person who sponsors him. He's probably trying to figure out about the murder and the weapon, but this guy wants to bring it all crumbling down. Like, and avenge his family and the people of his country who he was raised to love and thought that he was gonna like govern and take care of. So he wants to avenge them. And this is basically supposed to be like a really good progression fantasy. So basically it he goes to the academy and then he just continues to train and train and get stronger and stronger and stronger, so he progresses. And basically all I've heard about this is that he potentially becomes like an OP character, and like every time he tries to learn a new skill he like immediately masters the skill and becomes like the best at it or whatever. So I'm like, okay, for me emotionally, like I'll be safe because clearly
Because
he
it sounds
just
like he's a Mary Sue.
basically, yes. But I have heard that honestly, for me, that's like a plus, because I'm like, okay, this is one of those books I can read without like just being like, oh, Lord. But for other people, they were like, okay, that was a little bit annoying. Like, can you just be bad at something, you know? But outside of that one critique of the novel, everybody is saying that this is a really, really good one, or everyone that I've talked to about this book is saying that it's really, really good outside of that one fact. So I'm very excited to read this one. I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to have some really unique world building, a really interesting magical system that we haven't seen before, and hopefully some interesting characters, maybe a little bit of found family in here, which I always love. And so I can't wait to read this year.
The one thing that I love about books, movies too, because you get to visually see it, but books, I love that you can just basically take a moment to spend time in like the author's brain, and like, cause like he just came up with like, yeah, this magic is the will of people, and so now we're gonna pyramid scheme this. Like, who just thinks of that? Like, that is very, very cool, very, very interesting. So,
Yeah.
that's a plus for books. Read more books.
Excuse me. Yes.
And watch movies. It's the same thing.
What you got next?
Okay, Krisha also gave me this one.
Yes.
As you can tell, she's
We're gonna
excited.
buddy read this one. I'm so very excited.
This one's Casual Servant. If you watch the Advent calendar videos that we posted, then I've already talked about this. But if you didn't watch it, that's okay, because I'm gonna talk about it now.
But also go watch it.
Basically, this is the so the first book that came out was Kushil's Dart. This is the series, and Krisha.
It's out of frame. Sorry, but I also have it up there.
That's hilarious.
Not Krisha loves it. We love it. That's why I bought this for you.
Yep. Kushil's Dart. Krisha read it. Our dad read it, and then he gave it to me to read. So then I read it. Casey read the book first. Then Krisha read it. Then he told me to read it. So then I read it. We have all read Kushil's Dart. There is a trilogy. I think there's even 3 more books, but the main trilogy is their main story. I started the second one and didn't get into it. So, in an effort to get me back into it, because Krisha knows that I would have to reread the first one because it's so politically dense that like there's no way I could just jump into the second one. Like, no, you have to read everything that happens in the first one. But because it was so politically dense, I didn't want to go back and read it. So now we have Cashel's Servant, which is basically the first book, but from the main dude's point of view. And this is kind of got that spirit partner, fated mate type deal that Krisha loves. So it scratches that itch for her. But it's really good. Um, I also liked the dude better than I liked the girl. That tends to happen. It's the internalized misogyny. I'm so sorry. I'm working on it. I'm doing worksheets. Anyways, I like
Not
the dude.
worksheets.
I like the dude better. Anyways, and so I think I'm really gonna enjoy this. I'm really intrigued to see because basically for her, like her whole deal, she was basically raised to be like a sexual spy. Which
Like
is
a concubine, but also, yeah, then be a spy.
yeah, like people can basically like
Get her services and she
yeah,
get their secrets.
and then and at one point in time, political intrigue, war things happen. The Huns are invading. Well, not really the Huns. They're more like barbarians.
No, I think they're more like Vikings.
Yeah, barbarians.
Well, yeah, but basically we're not in China. We're like this.
Yeah.
This basically takes
like
place in
Europe.
like a fictionalized France.
Yeah, and so a bunch of stuff happens, and she essentially needs this protector, and he's a part of like this service. They're essentially kind of like monks almost, but like they are fighters and they're awesome. I mean, look at these vambraces, isn't that so cool?
But they're like
and he's got
they're
like, a sword.
abstinent. And,
Yeah, they're sworn to abstinence, but then obviously, when you
Well,
have
she's
to
a
protect
consort,
this,
so-
yeah, I mean, come on, and y'all are trapped in a cave. Well, what can you do? There's no
she
cell
didn't-
phones. There's
But
no
she didn't
books.
seduce him or anything. She didn't do it on
No, they
purpose.
fell
There were
in
like
love.
there were things that happened, and I
They
will
were
say it's not
imperiled and fell in love.
Yes. But I will say it's not like fated mates or anything like that. It's more that like I love how devoted he is. I mean, I just love I just love a guy who like sips for the girl. Like, like we deserve that as women, the way the world has treated us. So like and it does it like in a really like way that doesn't feel like too over the top. That makes you want to just like cringe. It's like not cringe worthy. Like she did a good job with it. I will say like every creative juice this author had came out in the first 3 books. Because everything after that, I was like, eh. But the first 3, chef's kiss. I'm done now. God.
I didn't say anything that time.
Yeah, well, I saw it on your face.
I literally didn't say anything. My face didn't say anything. It's a freaking fish.
It's definitely an awkward turtle.
Anyways, I'm intrigued to see his story and like what his life was growing up because they have to give us his beginning because we get her beginning where she's like orphaned and then not and so I want to see it, so I am really excited about this one.
Yeah. And our dad has already started reading it, and he has said that it's really good. So we're going to have to start it soon so that he can talk to us about it, which he wants to, which I told him we were going to buddy read for it, but he couldn't wait. So
I think it will be jarring though to go from his perspective and then get the second book and have to go back to her because I already
liked her a lot. She's a good
liked,
character.
like
She's
I
like
said,
strong. She's like a little naive at the beginning of the first one, but
there's nothing wrong with her. I just liked him better. Probably because he had a sword.
he does have a sword.
But so I think that's going to be a jar for me. But
He has
I'm
a
sure
sword
I'll get into
and
it.
daggers. It's really cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's awesome. He has a murder suicide dance of love. Like
Wait, okay, spoilers.
So I'm excited to read this one.
Hopefully Styles will read the second one. I understand why they didn't want to read the second one. Like, it takes a turn that you're just like, really? And, it just kind of makes you think back on the first one and it's like, what was it all for? But then...
Basically, the first book, we're building this entire complex Jenga tower of just everything that is their relationship and all the ins and outs that goes into it. And then at the beginning of the first book, someone knocks it down.
Well, I think it's...
Like,
I think it's important for them to, like, pressure test their relationship, right? Like
that's fine, but
like
why did that happen so soon? I wanted the honeymoon phase.
Like they
have survived.
Like they have very different, like they grew up very differently. Like like with him being a monk or whatever, and he's like throwing away his vows. Like there has to be like a little bit of a reckoning for that. Like he has to like make a choice that's not based on in the moment we think we're both gonna die, but it's like now we've gone beyond that. He has to continue to choose to make that choice. And so the second book like deals with the repercussions of that tension right there. And then the third one is just amazing. It's like the third one is my favorite of all of them. And that's saying something because the first one was like one of my top 5 favorite books of all time for many years until some new stuff has like come in and snuck in there. But it's still top 10. I think about it all the time and read it a lot. So I think this is going to be really good. But the third one is so good, which is why I need you to make it through the second one. That's why I was so excited when I saw that this came out because I was like, yes, we can start this journey again and hopefully get Styles to the finish line. Come on.
That is the goal. It's going to be tough. It was a lot of mental gymnastics for me, the first book.
I'm not going to lie to you. When I read the first book, I did make myself a cheat sheet, like a little Word document. Not a Word document. Like I wrote it out on like
I just don't
paper.
need homework for the book that I'm reading. That's why
And
I like Rage of Dragons, okay? You've got Tao, you've got his little scale Jayed, who their names aren't necessarily as important to me. They each have a function and they do their function, and that's great. Udawak, he's the strong man. Then you got Ya, who's the fast man. Then you got old dude, he's the smart man. Right? Like, but your main dude is Tao. You got Jabari, he's burnt. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's simple. Everyone has a role to play, and they play their role.
I do like slightly more nuanced and complex novels. I will throw that out there. I do enjoy Rage of Dragons, but I don't enjoy it as much as Styles does because it's their favorite book of all time. But all of that being said, that stuff is not all that important. Like, I had it, but then, like, once you get through the first third of the novel, it doesn't matter anymore. Everything is thrown out because you're like, holy shit, plot. And it, like, bursts through all of that.
End, so
kind of, but not really. It's fine.
This is something that I would love to watch a TV show on.
Right. So, the next one that I have is Air by Sabaa Tahir. And, I'm super excited about this. I actually don't know a whole lot about this. And the funny thing about this book is that I wanted it purely based on the hype around her original like series. So this, I believe, is her most recent series because this one came out in 2024 and I think the second one came out last year in 2025. But her original series is book 1, I think it's called Ember in the Ashes or Ember of the Ashes. Can you take a look and tell me what the title is on that book there?
And Ember in the Ashes.
Yeah, and Ember in the Ashes, correct. And I was told that this, by some people that I respect and people who like understand my taste in books, that and Ember in the Ashes was the best romantasy that they had ever read.
I love a romantasy.
And I, on the other hand, am extremely picky when it comes to romantasies. Mainly because of Kushiel's Dart, which I hold as like the gold standard for a romantasy, where it has a very well fleshed out plot and it's not just about how do we get these two main characters together so they can like I'm sorry, I just feel like that's always just the point. And like also the characters aren't like one person is 2,000 years old and one person is 20, and while yes she is an adult, the like life experiences in between the two, like you can't tell me that they're
I feel so attacked.
You can't tell me that they're on equal playing field. And don't get me wrong,
they're never on equal playing field.
Thank you. Like there is a place for that, and there are books that I like that have that, but like recently I feel like in the last like 5 to 10 years this whole romantasy genre has just like fallen back on just what are the tropes that are most popular, how do I get as many of those into my books as possible. Like if you're gonna write a fantasy novel, you need to actually build in the things that make a fantasy novel good. You need to have a good plot. You need to have strong characters. You need to have them working towards something other than just like, what can I do? Like what contrived pieces of narrative can I throw in to make sure that these characters like are always pushed together at some point? Like you got to do more work than that. And so like I was really annoyed by that. That's why anyways, we're not going to talk about the ones I don't like. Point being, when I heard that by a person that I really trust was the best romantasy they had ever read, I got really excited. So I'm very excited to read that. And then I heard that this was coming out and I was like, okay, people started asking me what I wanted for Christmas. So I was like, well, I will get this one. So hopefully this one is really good. I can't tell you if it's going to be or not because I haven't even read the first book that I have by this author, but I trust the person who recommended it to me and I trust that this is a really good author, and I'm really excited about it. And this basically, I think, is going to have a lot of found family, and it's also going to have a lot of people kind of basically just fighting against an empire again. I don't think it's necessarily colonizing. I think it's like there was basically like a revolution that like ousted a prince, basically, and now he's like, or not so much a revolution, more of a coup. And so it follows these three characters: one person who grew up in the slums, another person who got banished from her people for some sort of crime, and then the crown prince. Um, he's the crown prince of the empire and nephew of a venerated empress, but he doesn't want to take the throne or something. And he's also the son of a reviled emperor, so people don't really, I don't know. Anyways, the three of them somehow get together, shenanigans happen, and they have to like save the world. So I'm super excited about this, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna read An Ember and Ashes first. So, but yeah, I want to talk about it mostly because I want to talk about Saba Tahir, and I want more people to like know this author and read this author. What you got?
I've got Berserk.
Oh yes,
We got this for Christmas. Our dad thought it would be cute to get us one book to share between the two of us
because of our channel.
But little did he know that, or somehow he didn't realize that we are 6 years apart and never had to share anything in our lives. So we clearly, he later on went and bought a second copy so that we could have it.
This is basically like that moment in, did you watch The Devil Wears Prada? Mm-hmm. Yeah, where she was like, you need to get the Harry Potter book before it is published and get it for both of my twins and no, they cannot share. Like, so you made the main character get an unpublished book, somehow get it printed and bound in time to get it on a train, and not one copy, but two. And that's basically what happened here. Except our dad did not understand the assignment at the beginning.
I literally, I was like, sir. But
the way my husband literally looked at me later that evening after like the whole hullabaloo of the book, and he was like, "So, did y'all just never learn how to share?" He's the middle child, and he and his siblings are closer in age, and also he's just like the best sweet bean ever, so he doesn't understand. He doesn't get it.
I think we can share when it comes to certain things. This was not, because one, it was a book, but then two, it's also a manga. And so it was like, what did you, and look how awesome this cover is.
This
like
is a
it
special
looks,
deluxe edition.
I have no idea what this is about, and yet as soon as, so my brother, he's read the manga already.
Yes.
And he, gassed it up. I can't remember what he said about it, but he gassed it up so much that I got excited. Mm-hmm. And then I saw it, and it just, look at the detail going on here. Like, this is beautiful. This is gorgeous.
It's extremely gory. Definitely not for children.
Which is another reason why I loved it.
Yeah, so it's like an adult manga, which is really nice because like typically we don't read a lot of adult manga or anime for that matter. Like I've watched some adult anime and I've enjoyed them, but for the most part, like we read and watch a lot of like shonen, shoujo, stuff like that. This is definitely not that, so it's like very different. And we're very excited about it. Basically follows a guy. He has a sword, a really big one. And he is out to get revenge against these basically like 8 demons. And as he's going about doing that, there's a lot of death and carnage. A lot. And one of the things that I think is super cool about this is that it's unfinished. It started, I think, back in like the 80s. And the mangaka who wrote it and like did all the art and everything, he has since passed away, but his like partner and like closest friend is supposedly like working on it to finish it. So it's not done, and it's been going on for decades, and it's like one of the most prolific manga out there, and has like a huge cult following. So we just basically, once Casey bought it for us, we both were like, yes, let's get into this. Like we need to. And it's really good. And it's a fast read because it's a manga. I'm already like a third of the way into it, and Styles, I think, is going to really enjoy it when they start it.
And it comes with a
I can't believe you just removed my bookmark.
Oh, I thought this was totally my copy. Don't worry, I know exactly where it came from. It was right here.
Rude. Heathen.
I might be 1 to 2 pages off, but I'm pretty sure this is where it was because there's this gap right there.
That's fine. That's fine.
I thought it was my copy. I forgot I didn't bring this. But yeah, this was the book I wanted to talk about, and I'm excited for it.
Yay.
It's your turn.
Yes. Okay. This is the last one, and I probably won't say too much about it because I don't know a ton about this, but I'm super excited. This has been like basically all over my Books Around account. Everybody who's read this has really liked it, and I am super excited because Jade City is one of my favorite books. It's a really good book, and I don't read a lot of fantasy novels that take place in modern day and kind of have a modern day like you're in the city, urban fantasy, blah, thank you, have a urban fantasy background, or setting rather. And so this one is supposed to, I'm really excited, it's supposed to basically follow two main characters who want to learn alchemy, which is just like a freaking cool topic, and I never read or watch anything that has alchemy in it, so I'm very excited about that. And follows two women that are started out as best friends as they grew up, but then they end up joining rival gangs. So they're like gangs, kind of like mafia-esque situation. Very similar again to Jade City, but the magic system is alchemy versus Jade. And they basically are a pit against each other because these are rival gangs and they're vying for territory. And so then the story basically builds and unravels from there. I'm not sure if it's sapphic because it starts when they are adults, and this is Marie Lu's like first adult fantasy novel. And I don't know if it's sapphic, so I don't know if it's romantic or anything, or if they're just best friends and that is the the end point, I guess, for their relationship. I don't know. We'll see. But I think this is going to be really good. I'm really excited because I really loved Jade City, and I'm hoping I'll get similar vibes from this. And I don't know if it's just the cover of it, but it always makes me think of Blood Over Brighthaven, and I think it probably is because of the cover. And I really did not like that book. Hot take, because I know everybody freaking loved it, and we can talk about that at another time. But I'm hoping that because that keeps coming into my mind when I think about this, I hope this is really, really good so we can like overwrite that experience basically. So, yay. Red City. Well, that's it for me. Those are the 5 books that I picked for this book haul video. And Styles, what do you got?
My last book, it's on Kindle, which is why I don't have a physical copy, which is why you were confused. But my last book is called Dark Joy. It just came out, was released January 6th. Speaking of romantasy where there's a 2,000-year age gap, this is my series. Long story short, I got the first book I ever got in this series. I got it when I was in high school, and I did not realize it was part of a series. So I read it, consumed it. I thought it was great. I would revisit it every now and then. But the way that it ends, they get like the main big bad, but then there's like some other big bads where you're like, oh, okay, so there's a sequel, which is what I thought. And so I Googled to see what part 2 was. Turns out the book that I had was book 20.
and in a series of like 30 or something.
There's 39.
It didn't end.
It's 39. Anyways,
wow.
So at the time when I was in high school, this was really before I even had a Kindle. So I was like, there's no way I can find and order like 19 other books. I'm not doing that. It's going to cost so much.
Styles gave up. If it were me, I would have bankrupted myself.
I gave up immediately because it's one of those romantasy series where each book is a standalone because there's a different couple in each one. Mm-hmm. This one is about vampires. They're technically called Carpathians because vampires are something different, but we're not going to go into the details. Mm-hmm. I could talk about this forever, but anyways,
maybe we'll make a second book where you just get a video where you can just tell me all about this crazy long series that you're reading.
Last year, 2024, I wanted to read. It's called the other one. It's called Dark
2025.
Well, it was the year before that. It's newly 2026. Give me a break. Anyways, it's called Dark Slayer. That's the book that I had. And I wanted to reread it, but I didn't have it, so I got it on Kindle, and I was like, well, I'm an adult now, and I have adult funds, so maybe let me go back, do this experiment to see if the book is as good as I remember, or is it like nostalgia factor, and see if the other ones are good. Are they going to give me some context? Will that change the way that I read book 20? So I really just want to do this experiment. Read all of them. The first 6 books are
forever.
It took an entire year.
I wanted Styles to read so much other stuff, and they were like, I can't do it.
It's
I'm
not
busy.
bad. 20 books in a year for me ain't bad.
Yeah, but Styles was booked and busy, and I was literally just like, can you please read this? And like, nope, can't do it.
Anyways, so the first couple books aren't that great, but then it gets better, and this is one of those stories where at first you could definitely, like, to your point, that trope of telling, just trying to put the characters together, and it's one of, like, the spicy novels, so there's a few scenes in there that are spicy. By the time you get to, like, book 20 and so on, like, that part really takes a backseat, and the world building and the plot and all that stuff really comes to forward, or
And
to
it
the
only took
forefront.
20 books to get there, but by golly, we made it.
Yeah, I think it does it before then, but definitely by book 20, that's when it starts to really dig its heels in, and it's really good. It's enjoyed it, and so then I spent all of last year reading her Ghostwalker series because I had caught up. You know, I read all 38 books, and I was like, but book 39, it's called Dark Joy, and it just came out this month, and I literally bought it earlier today. I'm so excited.
Yay!
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're excited. Literally, that's the most excited they've been for any book that we've talked about today, including Cassio Servants, which, like, I'm shocked. But when you love what you love what you love, and when you find something that just like
I'm so
speaks
invested.
to you, yeah,
I'm so
like
invested.
I'm
the
here
last
for
time
it.
I read Cushion's Dark was years ago,
That's
so
fair.
like, you know, I'm not as invested at that one, but you know,
That's fair.
the Dark series, that was all of 2024 for me. So, but yeah, that's my 5.
Well, yeah, so we're super excited to read these. Maybe we'll do another book haul video in the near future. Who knows? We'll see. But either way, we will be recording some new content and posting a lot of fun stuff for y'all. So please come see us next time in The Hoard.
The Hoard. The Hoard.
Bye.